Good evening. Tonight I am going to be answering some questions and rambling on for a bit. I will answer them to the best of my ability, and we'll also be doing some gentle hand movements as well as some small fabric sounds. All right. First question. Rafael Castillo asked favorite bands and their songs. I believe I have a few favorites, although I have a lot of bands that I like. So I would say my all-time, or I should say maybe my current favorite. I don't know if it would be fair to say all time, but that would have to be a band called Amaranth. I really like one of their songs called Boomerang, and then I'm forgetting the names of the others that I really like. Sometimes when you add them all to a playlist, it's hard to remember the names after a while. I know another one was Strong. Maybe they'll come to me. I also like another band called Within Temptation. They have a lot of songs that I like. The Howling, some of their newer ones. I'm not as good as on the names on those ones. The Reckoning, I really like that one. Yeah, so I tend to gravitate towards more metal or rock type music, but I'm open to a lot of different kinds. I tend to listen to more female vocalists, although there are definitely a lot of bands with male vocalists that I also enjoy. Probably because I enjoy singing to a lot of music, and it's a little harder for me to sing the male parts of music. Alright. Another one was by Rodeo Monkey 84. Favorite countries or cities that I've been to. I would say my favorite city that I've been to, it was New Orleans. I found the food there very, very good. It was a little bit humid, I guess, at the time I had gone. But very, very good, friendly city. I stayed mostly around the French Quarter, so I didn't explore probably as much as I would have liked to. But someday maybe I'll go back. There are a lot of different places that I would like to visit. I think it's difficult to think about traveling too far from where I'm at the moment, just with everything that's going on. So, unfortunately, I have not done as much traveling in my life as I would like to. They also ask, what is my greatest fear or phobia? I have a pretty standard one, I think. I am very afraid of spiders. Not small spiders, large spiders. There's something about them I just don't like. So I can be around small spiders. I can even touch and hold them. But those large ones, there's something about them I'm not a big fan of. The way they move, I feel like they kind of crawl a little bit. And then I have a really strange fear of crickets. Black ones, particularly, just these small little crickets. I think it's because they scurry very similarly to a spider, so I don't like those at all. But other than that, I don't have too many fears. There's really not much else. I'm not afraid of heights or small spaces, or I guess I tend to get a little anxious in crowds of people. I'm very introverted for the most part, and sometimes crowds will set me off a little bit, but for the most part I can deal with them. It's mostly the spiders. Alright, let's see. Jonathan Lopez had a few questions. He asked, what are my biggest annoyances or pet peeves? I think this one is when you're driving and someone cuts in front of you and then goes slow. That's probably my biggest pet peeve. So, I used to do a lot of driving for my work. Not so much anymore with my current profession, but I think I learned to really not like that during that stage of my life. And then I said, how did you start playing Magic? So I had to ask my husband for permission to talk about him in order to answer this question. And he said I could talk about him. So when we were younger, he had played Magic a long time ago, back in high school. But I had never done that. When I was in my early 20s, I mainly played MMO games, mainly World of Warcraft. I did a lot of raiding. I was a raid healer for a lot of, or I should say a large guild. And I spent a lot of time doing that for gaming, so I didn't do a lot of other kinds of gaming. But when life became a little bit too busy to continue raiding, I lost a little bit of my spark for that game, because I really, really enjoyed that aspect of it. So, kind of some years went by, and he started to want to try and get back into Magic. I had never played it before, so I decided to give it a try, and it turned out to be really great. I really enjoy it. there's a lot of lore behind it. Someday I'll read the books and kind of lore that goes along with it. It's pretty interesting. But that's kind of how I got into it. He started kind of getting a little bit into it again, and he taught me how to play. So, and then it's snowballed from there. So, what are my favorite Magic cards? So, the very first deck video that I did was my vampire deck, and in that one I have a vampiric judge tutor card, and then my exquisite blood. Those are probably my favorite ones just because they mean a little more to me. So there's definitely probably better cards out there, but I just really like those ones. And then he also asked, do I play any video games? So I used to play a lot of World of Warcraft, but these days I mainly play a lot of Nintendo. So I also play Pokemon games. Those stem all the way back from my childhood when I was playing the very first Pokemon games. My brother and I would play a lot of video games together, and it's followed me through my whole life. So I do also play a round of more horror games with my best friend. We occasionally will get together and play either like a PlayStation or an Xbox kind of more horror game together. And then he asks, Marvel or DC? I would say Marvel. There are some stories from DC that I like, but I think overall I prefer Marvel. That being said, I have not actually read any actual comic books for either. Mostly going off the movies at this point, but I definitely enjoy the Marvel ones a little bit better. So, Thor was always my favorite. I think he is the funniest, maybe followed by Ant-Man, I think. So I always like a little bit of humor in the things that I watch. I think life is a little bit too crazy as it is, so it's very nice to have a little happy and funny in the things that I consume in that way. Also, my dream career, I would say anything creative. I enjoy making things, so that's part of the reason why I'm here. ASMR is something that I have always loved, even before I had an official name for it. And I really enjoy making it, and it would be lovely to have a career someday where I can make things, but that's alright. And lastly, from Jonathan, favorite snacks. This one is probably, I don't do a ton of snacking, probably more sweets. I love anything that is sweet, so chocolate and candy, ice cream, anything that is like sweet cakes, cookies. And then Buttercup had asked more folding videos. So yes, I really enjoy making folding videos. I have a very long list of videos that I would really like to make, so I will make my way through them and try to add things that people suggest to me along the way. Let's see, V asked my favorite pieces of literature or authors, and which book or movie TV shows do you like the most and the least? Favorite pieces of literature or authors. I really enjoy Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. More The Hobbit, I think. I think The Lord of the Rings gets a bit long-winded for me, but I really enjoyed The Hobbit. I also really liked Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, and then of course Alice in Wonderland, which I'm reading the book on this channel. But I would say my all-time favorite is probably Harry Potter. I remember when that first came out when I was a kid, and I kind of grew up with it, so it was a really great series that I still enjoy today. And then, which book, movie or TV show do I like the most and the least? TV shows. I'm really, really into The Mandalorian right now. I don't watch a lot of television though. I mostly do creative things in my spare time, so. But I'm always a big Star Wars fan, so. I started watching the Book of Boba Fett as well, and I'm not quite as into that one as much as The Mandalorian. I think it's well written, but it's a little slower, not quite as funny. I really enjoy comedy, so. And then Whiskey Earned Better Gents Podcast asks, what is your favorite fantasy novel? So, and I had already answered that question up above, so. Immobilis Dignitus. If I had to choose between being a demon or an angel, what would I pick? Well, I think that would really depend on what definition of demon and angel you would be referring to. There are a lot of books, I think, that reference, demons and angels that kind of give them a different spin. In many of those books, I would probably choose demon. They just seem to be more fun. But in the classical, sense of a demon and an angel, I'd probably choose angel. So, Royal Rose said, if you get drunk with anyone from history or a dead celebrity, who would it be? This one was very difficult for me to think about. I don't often get drunk, but I would say it would be somebody that is a comedian or similar from history. I don't know if it would even have to be a specific celebrity or person from history, just as long as they were generally a funny person. And then Salvatore Culata has asked, which would you choose to be, a vampire or a werewolf? For me, that would be vampire. I don't like the idea of turning into a werewolf if I had to choose. So, vampire would be. And then it says, what is my favorite color to play in Magic? And that would be black, hands down. I love the black color. I feel like a lot of the creatures that are in black you can find in the other colors too. I just like the way black place. So, and then Cool Calm Collector asks, how did I get into Magic the Gathering? And I had answered that earlier as well by saying it was kind of my husband had been getting into it, and so I decided to join him. And then Restful Sleep asks, what is your favorite movie? This one is also a very hard one. I would say The Addams Family is probably my favorite. That's one I've watched many, many times. I really enjoy The Addams Family. I think they are a really great family. If you think about them, they're always very supportive of each other. So, even though they're a little strange, but that's alright. But this was a very hard one to answer. I also very much enjoy a movie called Stardust. It's not a real popular one, but it has a really great ending, and the princes in that movie are really funny, so I very much enjoyed that. And those are all of the questions that were asked of me. So thank you to anyone who had a question. And then thank you to everyone watching this. I was not sure how my channel would be received at first. I had actually made a couple of ASMR videos probably 6 years ago, but I never released them. I was just, every time I made one, I kind of went, oh, I don't think anyone's going to like this, and I never released it. But as I've gotten older, I decided to just give it a try, and it's been really fun. I really enjoy making the videos and the editing, and the community is always amazing, so thank you very much. I appreciate you.